provisions. They have been made note of. The CBDT and the CBEC, whose officials were present, they will examine it and let us see what can be done.
Okay, sir. Right. Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. Thanks for that, sir.
Okay, that's the Finance Ministry's meeting with FPIs, which ran into day 2, and exactly the same issues being talked about ahead of the budget as to how to bring in more retail participation, how to corporatize the bond market, and operational efficiencies for equity markets and FPIs and FII community. But NIIT, the management is gearing up to speak with us. Can we go across to them and speak? Yes, we can. P. Rajendran, CEO at NIIT, joins in to talk about their earnings performance. Mr. Rajendran, hi. Afternoon. Thanks so much for joining in. Firstly, if you could walk us through the key highlights of how the quarter has been for you.
Hello, I think this is Rahul Patwardhan here.
Okay, go ahead. I'm
CEO
so sorry.
Yeah, we after 2 quarters since our restructuring in Q4, we have worked to plan and everything has gone exactly as per plan. So for this quarter, we've grown 5% year-on-year on revenue. Our EBITDA is up to 9%. Most important, our PAT is up 102% to 208 million year-on-year. Our overseas revenue is now up to 63% as against 59% same quarter last year. Our DSO days are down, our net debt is down, our operating ROC is up to 10% from 4.5% in Q1. All this has happened on the continued very good performance of the corporate learning business, 16% growth year-on-year on revenue, 12% EBITDA, exactly as we had laid out. And we've had 2% improvement in the MTS revenues from 89 to 91%. We've added one significant customer in MTS, which is Citibank, which we announced a couple of days back. And order book has also grown by 15% in the corporate learning business. So all in all, corporate learning business has continued to provide the impetus. But what's really important is that the business transformation, the re-energizing phase of the skills and career business has borne results. We have a 1% revenue growth in this business. Last 37 quarters, we've had negative growth in this business. So we've turned the ship around, back to growth. And the profit, or the EBITDA, is now at 7%, as against 0% in Q1. And therefore, the back to profit is also tracking up in the direction that we wanted to. Our go-forward business in SNC has gone up by 13%. This is if you exclude businesses that we have already announced that we're exiting and therefore will not be there for the long term. Our order intake is up. Our channel business, we have 300 plus channel partners. We've grown 9% on revenue year-on-year on the channel business, a very good sign. And our Beyond IT business has gone up to 40% in this quarter as against 39% last quarter, which is in the direction that we wanted it to move. Finally, we had a restructuring phase for SNC. We then have re-energization, which has delivered these results. But we've also made the investments in the next phase, which is renewal, with the launch of StackRoute.
Sure.
We launched it in August. It was very successfully oversubscribed in October, and we launched NIIT TV this month.
And indeed, Mr. Patwardhan, it has been an impressive quarter, but let's talk a little bit about the future. What's the view when it comes to your margins going forward? Do you think that, given that a fact that a lot has been led by the cost saving and optimization measures, is further margin improvement on the cards?
Yeah. So for this year, we continue to hold to the numbers that we laid out in May. Everything is tracking to that. All the new business that's coming in is increasing and solidifying the probability of our numbers for the year. So 15% growth in the top line for CLG for the full year, 12% EBITDA for CLG. We continue to hold to that. And we believe that that will continue to be the trend for the organic business going forward. The SNC business, at this point of time, we must keep in mind that this is usually the best quarter for this business. So while we have done better than we had planned at this stage, we have Q3 and Q4. So we continue to hold to back to growth, back to profit. I don't want to give any specific indication on the improvements on both these parameters. The schools business, we are in the process of transformation after formation of the subsidiary in April. We're currently in the final stages of selecting a new CEO for this business since it's a new subsidiary. So I'll be able to talk a lot more about this business once the new CEO comes on board and we're able to lay out a strategy for this business.
NIIT TV then, Rahul, considering that's going to be a big trigger for you guys, the team as well is extremely excited about, the prospects of NIIT TV. Tell me, what is it that we can expect in the next few months?
Well, the first thing I would say is that it's just 15 days since we launched. It's a beta launch, as I had mentioned earlier. We already have registrants from 82 countries around the world as of 2 hours ago. Maybe there are a few more since then. So we're already seeing a lot of interest in this portal. We've added a few courses when we launched, and since then, in the last 15 days, we've added many more courses. The intent with this portal is to democratize education and skilling in this market, especially the skilling area, is to throw open the portals of NIIT and bring available everything that we do in our classrooms. And we have more than 25 to 50,000 classrooms which are operational at any point of time. How do we make that all available to India at large, but actually to the world? What we will do with this is to create a much larger pool of people who are engaged with NIIT than the few million that are currently engaged with us through our physical centers and our extended lead marketing mechanism for the physical centers. It could go up to 10, 20, 50, 100 million people, which would then result in increase of interest in our brick and mortar business, but will also create the possibility of adding value-added revenues around the free business or free services that we offer on NIIT TV. So very early days, but I think it's going to be a very, very important part of the future of NIIT.
Are you looking at, NIIT Tech? Are you looking at, exiting, getting some strategic stake from here?
Well, looking at the way the NIIT Tech share price has moved in the last few days, I think it's been a very wise decision that we've held on to the shares of NIIT Tech. But it is an investment. And as all investments, one makes decisions based on the opportunities in the market. So beyond that, really, I can't say anymore.
So you would be willing to swap some stake. Are you saying that?
I think we have an investment. It's a financial investment in a company which is giving us very good returns. And at this point of time, that's the position.
One approached you for the stake till now?
No, not me at least.
No, not you. I mean the company, of course.
Not in the time that I've been around.
Okay, so previously they have.
I wouldn't know.
Okay, we'll sort of read between the lines with that one, maybe prod you on that a little bit later. But let's also, talk a little bit about your deal wins. How sizable have they been in MTS? You recently announced that big deal. So momentum clearly seems to be strong. Share some insight here.
Yes, quarter one was a big quarter for us. So we had a strong pipeline. Many of the deals were at the closing stage. So we announced 5 wins, if you recall, in quarter one. That pretty much depleted our pipeline, which is why we've had only one major deal in this quarter, but it's a very significant one with Citibank. But in this quarter, we've been working very hard at building up the pipeline. So I'm happy to say that we have, again, a very strong pipeline. So we expect to see continued growth in our order intake and our order book going forward.
Leave us with some numbers, Rahul, because there's been incredible interest in your stock and it seems to be pricing in a very strong growth from here. What's the outlook and the guidance? If you could share some key segments and numbers with us before leaving.
I would like to stick with the guidance that we have given. I don't want to create expectations which are not reasonable. 15% growth on the top line for CLG, 12% EBITDA. We are working hard to look at possibilities of raising that. I don't see significant amount happening this year. And we have a productivity program that's trying to drive up the margins. Again, the benefits of that to some extent are being already gained, but we are plowing that back in terms of fresh investment to drive growth. On the skills and careers, back to growth, back to profit this year. But obviously, the kind of initiatives that we're working on should provide a very strong platform for accelerating growth and profitability over the next 2-3 years.
Let you go on that note. Many thanks for sharing with us the outlook and all the very best for the coming quarters. For now, let's move right back to some more earnings filtering in on our screens. Well, M&M Finance has put out its numbers and on the face of it, it's a little bit disappointing. They have delivered a profit of 100